Well, hello there. So today I'm going to talk about detoxing in prison, what it's like coming off heroin when you get to prison. And I'm not talking about nowadays where they give you methadone and Subutex. Back then they didn't give you anything. So I'm just going to talk about that. And the reason I do it is I just want to show people what it's like living with addiction. Showing people that you don't have to live like that. If you really want to change your life, you can, because that's what I've done. And there was nobody out there that was any worse than me. I was gone, alcoholic, drug addicted, fat as out, and I've turned my life around. So if I can do it, anyone can. And if people get inspired by that, brilliant. But that's why I do it. So when you first get locked up, if you're a heroin addict, they used to just throw you in a cell. And Doncatraz, my local jail, it was they used to put you on a thing called lower medical, and it was like a wing dedicated to addicts coming off alcohol and heroin, and when you got down there, they used to take you down in a lift, and they would just throw you in a cell. They didn't give you anything to help you. I think they gave you something called Mellow or Brittle Effects, but it didn't do anything. It did nothing. So you get onto the lower med. The lower med is like I say, it's like a dungeon. You go down in a lift, and there's like a dorm with about, 20 people in there, and there was cells as well. So you either got put in a double cell or put in the dorm. And to be honest, the dorm was probably better because there was someone to talk to. You could have a walk around. But anyway, the cells. In the cell, there was a TV, but it was like in a box, like a plastic box, so you couldn't touch it. So you had to watch whatever was on. You couldn't turn it over or out. And the cells, they was so dark, and when you get there, I can't explain it. There's a weird smell. I've tried explaining it loads of times, but I can't. It's a very unique smell. It's like a detoxing smell. I don't know. I can't explain it. If you can explain it, let me know in the comments, because I can't. But anyway, you get in the dorm, and there's another 20 people there, all coughing, all farting, and everybody's knackered, everybody's exhausted, but you can't sleep. Everybody's scruffy as hell, ravished from drugs, and and you're all stuck in a dorm. And you can go in the shower. I think they'll let you out like once a day to go in the shower, and the showers were cold. So imagine that, you're detoxing from heroin, you haven't slept, you haven't ate, you're absolutely knackered, and if you want a shower, you just want a nice warm shower, but they're cold, so it feels like it goes straight through you, because you're cold anyway when you're detoxing. So imagine going in a cold shower as well. It's horrible. But yeah, they put you in the dorm, and that's when your detox starts. Now, me personally, I've only ever smoked. I've never injected. The detox lasts, I'd say the worst, most horrible symptoms is probably about 3 weeks, and then it slowly comes back. But you think like after 3 weeks of no sleep and no food, well, I say no food, probably like an odd biscuit here and there, your body would just crash and you'd be so exhausted you just sleep for a week. But it don't work like that. Your sleep comes back like 10 minutes one night, 5 minutes the next night, and so forth and so forth. And it is horrible. Your appetite, you can't eat now. If you eat out, you just puke it straight back up. You got stomach cramps, your head's hurting. I think the worst part though is not sleeping. I mean, it's so cruel. It's horrible. And every day seems like 10 days. Every week seems like 10 weeks. It just makes the whole experience of prison even worse. And just imagine if you're like ravished from drugs, you're exhausted, you're hungry, and you see someone who you don't get along with, and then you'll have to fight them, and oh man, or somebody accuses you of something. There's just a whole host of things that could go wrong to make your experience 10 times worse. And this is the thing about prison. People say, prison is a holiday camp. It's not. It's crap. It's boring. And granted, you can have a laugh in there. You can sort yourself out. When you get to prison, what you do is you'll go through the miserable detox, and then you'll start thinking, right, I've got to look after my body now. And then you'll start exercising. You'll start eating right. You'll start, trying to make yourself strong again. And you do. I always used to double in weight when I got to prison, skinny as hell. I mean, I couldn't be any more skinny. So when you get to prison, you can eat like 3 meals a day. It was back then anyway. And everyone would put weight on if you came in an addict, and you would go out fresh and clean and healthy. But you know, once you're stuck in that lifestyle, it's very, very hard to get out of, because there's so much time on your hands when you've been used to chasing drugs every single day. Because see what heroin does, it takes away all your problems, all your stresses, all your worries. It takes all them and sticks them into one problem, which is money. So you're just chasing money all the time. You don't care about anything else but the money. And when you're chasing money every day, day in, day out, you know, you're doing something. So then when you get clean and you're stuck with nothing to do all day, then it plays with your mind. And that's how a lot of people relapse, because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to act. They've got all day to fill and nothing to do it. And like me personally, I struggle talking to people now because of years of addiction. And like, if you put me on the streets with all the bums and the winos, or you put me in a prison, I'll do well, you know, I'll thrive. But if you put me in a room with like good, hard-working citizens, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to talk. And this is the thing with addiction, you know, nobody really talks about it. Everybody thinks that, oh, you just do your detox and then off you go into this great new life. But it's not like that. You're then stuck with all these problems, what you've been numbing with drugs over the years, and they all come back like tenfold. So you're like 10 times worse than all the problems that you was numbing with drugs, all come charging back, and it's all magnified, and it's a nightmare. And that's what addiction is. So, you know, anyway, that's my take on detoxing in prison. Addiction as a whole, it's a crap life, it's a miserable life, but you can get through it. You know, you can work towards making yourself a better person. That's what I do every day. That's why I make videos on here. I try to educate people, and maybe people can watch it and relate, and you know, maybe get inspired. But yeah, anyway, that's the video for today. Please press the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If I entertained you, then subscribe to the channel. Au revoir, bonjour.